At last, the long-awaited All Under Heaven DLC for Crusader Kings III has just released. You can go ahead and buy it right now if you want, preferably with my link that'll be in the description or with the code. Personally, I've been looking forward to this expansion, especially after my practically hiatus from CK3, haven't been playing it too much. But now we have what I've been waiting for personally ever since we got Khans of the Steppe, and that is practically all of Asia. And I think one of the most impressive things is that because of course we have 3 start dates, they had to add in all of Asia pretty much 3 times. Of course, a couple of things like certain religions you can keep in, some mechanics are consistent, but the history had to be recreated 3 separate times, which I think is very impressive, especially considering the scale of all of this fitting into a single DLC. Now, with that being said, today we're going to take a trip to 1178, specifically to Japan. Now, the 1178 start date for Japan, I think, is going to feel the most interesting for most players. It's going to be maybe not the most familiar, but closer to what I think most people are familiar with when it comes to Japanese history. And that's because this is just before the rise of the Shogunate. We're reaching the end of the Heian period, and then after that it's going to be another 700 years of varying shogunates. As the scenario describes, over the last 100 or so years, maybe 150, we see the rise of the Bushi. The Bushi are the warrior class, right? So you're going to be more familiar with the samurai, which make up part of that class. And in particular, they've been getting a lot of power because of a decree stating that if anybody is able to clear forest and create farmland out of it, then they could actually have that farmland. So of course, the samurai who have been enriching themselves have also been acquiring land through these methods, and now it's all sort of come to a head. The 2 main players we have in this scenario are Taira Kiyomori and Minamoto Yoritomo. Now, you might think that this guy becomes the first shogun. He actually doesn't, but we'll get to that in a minute. First, let's talk about the rivalry between basically these 2 clans. You have the Taira and you have the Minamoto. Now, both of these clans were actually granted court positions by the emperor. And so over time, they've been developing a rivalry between these 2 clans. But it's not like everybody in each clan is completely loyal to their clan necessarily. That doesn't happen until around 1156, where you have the Hogen Rebellion. We have this formerly deposed emperor. He tries to come back, establish himself as the emperor again, taking the throne from his brother. But of course, that fails, actually. So even though you have the Taira clan and the Minamoto clan, and they actually fight on both sides to varying degrees, but in both cases, the Minamoto clan are actually treated worse. They get harsher penalties if they're on the rebellion side, and they get worse rewards if they're on the winning side. So this actually creates a lot of unity within the Minamoto clan. They realize that they, as a clan, are being discriminated against, while the Taira clan are being given favor by the emperor. So during the 1160 Heiji rebellion, the Minamoto clan actually sides with the rebellion itself. This actually also fails. And in the process, Taira Kiyomori, he's the leader of the clan, of the Taira clan, he actually gets a whole bunch of privileges. The Taira clan are emboldened because they fought on the victorious side of this rebellion. And so Taira Kiyomori actually gets the title Daijo Daijin. It essentially means the Chancellor of the Realm, and up to this point was mostly just a ceremonial title. Oftentimes during most of the Heian period, it was just used to grant someone like a posthumous promotion, mostly prestige, even though the title was mostly occupied by the Fujiwara clan for quite some time. It never really meant too much. Then Taira Kiyomori comes in, he gets named Daijo Daijin, he has a lot of power in the government, but he does have mercy on the Minamoto clan. He doesn't completely destroy them, he just kind of makes them less relevant in the Japanese politics of the time. I know that was a lot to get started with, but I like to give a little bit of context for who we're playing as and what are our motivations as this character, Minamoto Yoritomo. So starting off, we have a little bit more context about the upcoming Genpei War. Now historically, this would be kicked off in, I think, 1180 actually. I think it lasted 1180 to 1185. And during this upcoming war is when our guy here, Minamoto Yoritomo, manages to successfully fight this war against the Daijo Daijin. and in this process actually destroying the Taira clan, cementing his rule and the rule of the samurai in the government, because in exchange for their service, he actually promises them titles and land. And so, of course, after they do succeed, he hands out all these titles and all this land to the samurai. That actually cements the military government in Japan, and then he actually becomes the first shogun. Well, the first shogun of the Kamakura Shogunate. There were technically shoguns previously. So we have our two options here. We can either decide we alone will end the Taira, or we, Minamoto, must unite in opposition. There's a little bit of bad blood between some of the different houses of the Minamoto dynasty. So, for example, we're actually the Kawachi house. And the Kawachi house is part of the Minamoto dynasty. There are lots of houses within this dynasty, 22 of them, in fact. And I actually agree we must unite in opposition. That's going to improve the relationship between our two houses here, the Kawachi, that's ours, and the Kiso. And then hopefully, even though this guy kind of hates us, hopefully he's not going to try and assassinate us, because we'll be friendly for the most part, but we will see. Starting with the strategist perks is amazing, but we will go with chivalry. Try to get at least this side of the gallant path down. Now, for us to succeed in the historical path, it's not going to be literally possible, in the sense where we cannot start this war and win it by 1185. At least I can't. Maybe someone better than me. But the main problem is that we have what we call the blocks here. The Matsudono, Setsu, Kanmu, and Oshu block. Now, the guys in charge of the Kanmu block, right? They're pretty strong, fairly powerful. Kind of makes sense that they went ahead and took the control of the country, really. But our main goal here is going to be to expand the Setsu block. We also want to increase the cohesion of the block to level 3. Ours currently, the Setsu block, is level 2. Once we get it to level 3, because we have the strength aspiration, we can actually allow all of our block members to follow us into an offensive war. And that's pretty much going to be necessary for us to ignite this Genpei war, because each of these blocks already acts like a defensive pact. So if we try to go about it alone here and just attack them, we can see what the obvious issue is. Now, alternatively, it is possible for us to do this if we so choose. We could actually create an install ruling regent faction. Now, either way, whichever path we choose, we are going to need to become the head house of the block. Currently, it's the Setsu block, which indicates that the Setsu are actually in charge. That's these guys over here. And for us to overtake them, we're going to need to fill one of these requirements. So we either need to be a higher rank. We can do that by conquering a few territories and then raising our fame, our legitimacy. That's the wrong button. This is the right button. Increase our fame and legitimacy, and then we can actually take over a very small portion of the country here. We can actually just take this entire duchy. Alternatively, we can raise our fame to be 2 levels higher than Soryo Yorimasu's. We can also improve our aspiration, our house aspiration here. We have a lot of them to pick from. Currently, we're going with strength, and if we bump that up with 2,500 prestige, we can get to level 3. That's another option. Or we can sort of coerce everybody into just allowing us become the head house. Now, the third option isn't actually impossible, but it might take a while. And I think the best thing we can do right now is simply try to build up our manor. We do start off with a decent bit here, and actually I think it would be really nice if we could start off with the Carpenter. The problem here is, yes, we do have manor reform. That's an imperial decree or whatever it's called. It's going to make it more expensive. So we're actually not going to build these yet because the decree should change pretty early on. For now, what we want to do is petition the Tenno, that's the Japanese emperor. We're going to ask him if we can curry some prestige. Speaking of prestige, either we're going to help him or we're going to get wounded. Let's find out. And of course, we're wounded. That is an excellent start to any campaign, I think. So the emperor says yes, but we have to pay him 50. And it's not amazing, but that's not a terrible deal either. As mentioned, we do have a new imperial policy. This one actually comes down from the Daijo Daijin himself, our rival Kiyomori. Since, of course, he's in charge, he gets to decide the imperial policy. Now, this one doesn't really matter too much. Imperial pacification, it kind of just makes it cheaper for us to hire men-at-arms. That's the main thing that matters for us. Well, actually, the main thing that matters is that we no longer have the previous policy, which made it more expensive to build everything in our manor. So with that being done, actually, we can go over here and grab ourselves a carpenter. This is going to make domicile buildings 5% cheaper. We can keep on upgrading it to make them cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. I think that's actually going to be the primary way that we're going to upgrade things, because once we get the 20% cheaper, it's actually going to give us a lot more money than just upgrading something to give us, say, like 0.1 per month. Now, another thing we can do is petition the Daijo Daijin. It would be a little bit odd considering he is our #1 op. We hate this guy and he hates us, but we might be able to ask for something regardless. And getting a council seat wouldn't be terrible. Okay, yeah, and he rejects us. That's not even surprising. Now, that being said, we do actually have a few other options here. We do have this thing called Raid Manor. It's a scheme we can do, I think it's once every couple of years, it might be 5. We have a really good chance of getting some decent money out of this. Now, I'm actually not even sure if you need permission to raid. Basically, it just means we won't be considered a criminal if we're discovered, so we just need to not be discovered. Simple enough. It is kind of insane that they're offering for me to join the Kanmu block. Yeah, actually, you cannot declare on a member of the same block, so this would essentially neuter our ability to go after the guy in charge. So we're going to build a couple of things. First, we want the roastery. This is going to make us quite a bit of extra money each month. Tenant farmers are also a decent idea for 0.2 domicile income. I think I actually also don't really want the servants' quarters. We're going to go ahead and demolish that, get a little bit of money out of it. And what I want is the personal builders. We're going to reduce the domicile building construction cost even further. I do also get a chance to start a murder scheme against Yomori, but we're not going to do that. It's pretty old anyway, he's probably going to die soon, and the main point is that we want to become the shogun. It's not going to be enough if he dies. Okay, so we're at the maximum possible number of executions. So we're going to execute this scheme, and we also get the opportunity to do something else. If we capture anybody, it's no longer a secret, we immediately become a criminal, so that's not great. We can do nothing, we can blind, disfigure, or turn them into eunuchs, or we can simply kill any of the members that we encounter. The thing is, even though we raid these guys, we want to make sure they don't realize it's us, and I think we don't want to piss them off either, because it would be nice to try and be friends with them if possible, so we're going to spare them. It is a success. Now, was I discovered? Yes, we were, absolutely. Okay, that is not great. We did get 165 gold though, so I mean, it's kind of worth it. And the other thing is, if he decides to declare war, I'm pretty sure my entire block will come and help me. It's not a very big block, mind you, but I think he's not going to arrest me. Hopefully, probably, maybe. It's also ideal for us to join pretty much any hunt whenever possible. Any kind of hunt, any kind of feast, any kind of pretty much anything. Getting ourselves a horse paddock is not a bad idea either. Oh, well, there goes my wife and my child. That's amazing. That's really great. Okay, well, let's see if we can improve relations with any clan. The Fujiwara, I guess. Okay, this is something. This is the daughter of the Daijo Daijin. I do have an opportunity to do perhaps the funniest thing imaginable. Yeah, we're gonna do that. And the plot thickens even further because Kiyomori here sent an assassin to kill me, but his daughter ended up saving me and dying in the process. Oh my goodness. It says he'll pay for this. It seems he already has, actually. He's just gained the trait Kinslayer. That's crazy, man. That's crazy. Sometimes this game is just absolutely incredible. But we also just got the rough terrain expert trait and another perk. We'll go with... This is probably a good idea. Well, there you have it. Taira Kiyomori has passed away. Hopefully that means no more assassination attempts on me, but who knows? Still, we do intend to take the title of Daijo Daijin, but hopefully whenever we petition the current one for something, at the very least he's not going to sort of be annoying about it. Okay, feast cancelled. What just happened? You are calling me into something against my liege. Now, how widespread is this revolt? That's a really big revolt, actually. So this would depose him, but it wouldn't actually put us in charge. That's interesting. In that case, this guy actually would become the new Daijo Daijin. And after that, actually, I guess it would just pass on through his siblings. If he dies, which he might, But yeah, we're not going to defend the Emperor. We will join in this war. Now that we have enough money, we're going to upgrade the manor once again, because each level of manor coincides with the maximum level you can upgrade things. Also, it appears the war is absolutely won. So what do we see here? Daijo Daijin is deposed, but we have a new one. So ultimately, nothing fundamentally has changed here. Oh great, got a gift that's poisoned. That's really cool, thank you. Now that we're back home and we picked up a little bit of prestige on the journey back, we can upgrade our house aspiration to level 3. It really just gives us an additional men-at-arms regiment and a little bit of additional army damage, but also importantly allows us to claim house block leadership. Now, we managed to get this far, but it's still going to be difficult to actually get this to happen. We're going to have to improve house relations with block members. We can also spend prestige, use a hook on this guy to try and make this happen. It's actually not very easy to get this done, but I think we can figure out a half-decent method. For a little while longer, we're just going to keep on maximizing the amount of additional money we can make, so we're going to grab some tax collectors. Okay, apparently I'm the new leader of a faction. I don't remember actually joining a faction. Ooh, okay, hold on, something's happening. So, who are you again? What are you doing? War against the tyranny of the current Daijo Daijin? Okay, yeah, sure, why not? As long as we'll win that, actually. Oh yeah, I think we're gonna win that. Boy, I sure do love joining the winning side and doing absolutely nothing. Don't worry, we'll do something kinda soon. By something, I might mean dying to the plague, actually. That's a real possibility. That's a major plague. Okay, this is not good. We do have major epidemic prevention, though. Ooh, minus 20% holding taxes. Oh, that's really great. Ooh, yeah, my daughter's definitely gonna die. Wounded, disfigured, and measles is crazy. Also crazy that I only have one child at this point. I've been married for like 12 years. Would you happen to be infertile? You are chaste. Okay, well, that's like the next closest thing. Okay, we're gonna have to fix that, I think. Oh, never mind. She is not dead. That's surprising. Okay, so who do we have in charge here? Just some kid? Alright, another attempt on my life, we love that. I'm sorry, hold on. This guy with 91 opinion of me, my cousin, has decided to try and assassinate me. I really appreciate that, thank you. What is wrong with you, man? Like, we're not even rivals anymore. This is the same guy that came to me and he's like, we should stop being rivals. I think that's bad for us to keep doing. And then later he's like, just kidding, let me try and assassinate you. Thanks, man. Actually, hold on, who was that? Is that you? Okay, listen, man. I'm gonna raid your manor. Oh wow, another one of these. That's crazy. Another war against the tyranny, what do you know? A war against the tyranny, and the tyranny is just this 4-year-old. Well, basically, we're going to execute this scheme. Do another raid on this guy who tried to assassinate me. Thanks, man. Oh, and yeah, we're gonna kill everybody here. Now, we were discovered, but see, that doesn't really matter at all because that would require the Daijo Daijin to be able to do something about it. And she is clearly not. But anyway, pretty sure we killed the guy who tried to assassinate me because I don't really see him anywhere anymore. And we're just gonna go ahead and hire a couple of cheap troops. Quality doesn't really matter in this case because we just need to have more than whatever garrison we're trying to fight. Oh, also, you want to marry my daughter. I don't really want to do that. This guy is willing to marry matrilineally, which will give us an alliance. It'll also be matrilineal, so we continue the House Kawachi. This seems like a decent idea. Alright, now we do have total victory here. I think we want to do a Setsu block expansion. I think we have the numbers to make that happen at this point, although I might wait 1 month. Finally, we get to declare our very first war. We'll call in our friend here because we do have enough troops, but we would like to siege both of these places at the same time. There are, of course, 2 forts in here. My daughter, now of age, can fulfill her betrothal. And it turns out we actually didn't even have to siege anything. Okay, well, let's go ahead and ransom everyone, of course, and then we'll take that ourselves. Now, we're actually just going to get a little pop-up here, and it's going to say who should rule this. And the thing is, we can just say we're going to rule it. Actually, yeah, that's going to be mine. I'm just going to keep it. Thank you very much. And of course, we're doing that because that can drastically improve our income. Now, we're going to do that a couple more times in different places where they're not too strong. Well, this guy is kind of strong, actually. But it doesn't really matter where we get this land from in Japan. It's not too relevant, so we can just fight pretty much anybody. So we'll take this as well. Of course, we're going to decide to keep it ourselves. Now this one's going to be a little bit riskier, but I think we should be able to do it, as long as we call him into this war. It says we should be able to win this, but I guess we'll find out. Oh yeah, it's no contest really. And then we can just go ahead and finish them off. Do a little bit of ransoming, of course, and we're good to go. Now in this case, I think I actually prefer these two provinces, or those two holdings over this one. So we're gonna hand this off to a subject, some member of my dynasty, of course. Oh, actually, before we do that, we are going to have to assert our regional dominance. So we're going to keep that in the back pocket. Let's spend some money for prestige. Simple enough to do that with a hunt. And just like that, we have succeeded in our hunt. That's a whole lot of prestige we can use to press that little button over there. Alrighty, we can assert our regional dominion. We actually get the Duchy of West Bando, 15 dread, 50 legitimacy, and every de jure county holder of the duchy actually becomes our vassal. That's pretty neat. So now, suddenly our domain is looking quite sizable, actually. And of course, because we have a duchy title, we can now go ahead and release this vassal. And now this is where things get interesting. Of course, I still cannot claim the house block leadership. I guess they're just too good at diplomacy or something like that. What I can do, though, is start conquering a lot of territories down here and handing out these newly acquired lands to my vassals, to my subjects, in particular members of my dynasty. That's going to improve relations with a bunch of these new houses, and if I do that, I might be able to change the tide here. Of course, we'll hire a seneschal to help us increase the control. The guru's not too bad either. Now, let's start expanding. Oh, I did actually become the new dynasty head as well. That kind of makes sense. Still not the block leader, though. Despite, of course, having 4 times the number of troops that Setsu has, it is actually quite useful that I only have to fight 2 battles. I don't actually have to siege things, so that's neat. I didn't even realize that during my testing. But anyway, now we can actually hand things over to my house members. So my uncle will rule this piece of land in my stead. Of course, he's going to join the Setsu block. What do we have? Another war against the tyranny. Let's go. Yeah, sure, man. Why not? None of this happened in my testing, by the way, so it's just kind of weird to see it happen so often. Ah, shoot. I forgot. I'm the player. It's cooked. Oh, no, wait, this actually seems to be like an actual war this time. Well, no, not really. It's just like the guy in charge and then everyone else. Yeah, this is an unrelated war, but I can't even blame him. It's just tragic. I'm just gonna make sure I don't die real quick. Okay, yeah, just please don't kill me. Thank you very much. Ooh, I'm infirm. Really? At the young age of 50? That's pretty bad. That is super unlucky. Well, let me see if I can get my wife to help me in. Oh, you suck at the economy too. That's cool. Okay, now the swarm is moving in. I'm gonna raise my army back up. Ooh, an earthquake's gonna hit Echizen. That's great. That's like actually going to happen. Oh, man. Just when I was getting really good. Yes, the disaster will have my undivided attention, I say, while I'm currently leading an army. Probably worth asking where Echizen is. Oh, that's kind of close. Yeah, it's kind of bad. That's a lot of dead people. Oh, what do you know? Good thing I'm kind of alright. Oh, the second impact. Oh god, it's another. That's so many people. Oh, dude. Call me Shinji the way I'm about to experience that third impact. Oh my god, it's real. That's crazy. I can't afford any of this, so good luck with that. I hope it turns out alright. Okay, well, the, whatever it's called is now gone. Daijo Daijin. Now we have another 4-year-olds. For some reason, we just keep on having those. Okay, I take it back. This 4-year-old might actually be cool. Thank you for allowing me to join the council. I appreciate that. The Emperor personally hates me. This is going to be a really awkward relationship when I take the Shogunate. Oh, right. Yeah, that did happen around now, didn't it? Well, it can't be that bad. I mean, we're behind the ocean. It's probably fine. They wouldn't assemble 3 war fleets. And I'm sure the wind will protect us. Probably. Setsu block expands again. My nephew will take charge of that territory. Hey, hold on a second. Mr. Daijo Daijin, a second earthquake is about to hit Japan. Okay, well, it really sucks to be my nephew, but he's about to be in charge of that place. Good luck with that. Now, if there's gonna be an earthquake going on down there, I think we're going to try and invade something in the north. I think that's a good idea, probably. Now, in this case, I feel like I'm going to actually keep this and create a subject. Because one of the big mistakes I made last time is just handing territory off to some random guy in my family, and then they actually leave the block. So it's kind of for nothing. It is rather annoying that claiming the house block leadership is so difficult. I think it's actually just bugged, if I'm being honest. The relative house military power doesn't budge at all, even though I now make up almost half of the entire block's military strength alone. Of course, it is relative to just this one guy, so oh, maybe he just has a lot of allies. Nope, no allies, it's just him, with 100 samurai and 900 levies. So I think it's kind of bugged at the moment, and the only way to resolve this is going to be me simply leaving the house block. And then we're going to make my own house block. Having formed our own block, we have kind of crushed our own cohesion here, but it's quite a sizable block actually. All I really have to do is go around and ask people to please change their aspiration. Of course, I am going to need prestige to make that happen, so we're gonna, go on a few hunts, maybe do some things. Oh, I can't actually go on a hunt because I'm infirm. Right. Not even falconry? I feel like falconry should be reasonable. Nope, can't even do falconry while infirm. That's cool. Okay, I guess we can hold the festival. Man, crazy how I was the glue keeping this entire thing together, and now that I left, the Setsu block is literally one guy. Well, not really, he's got like a whole bunch of local random places that aren't really on the map. But anyway, the point is obvious, I think. Well, he is 60, it's kind of reasonable that he'd pass away. I was hoping we'd be able to take over leadership of the country, but it's a little bit harder than it was in real life, I guess. Either way, we have a lot of prestige to work with, so I'm actually not too upset about this. Now, actually, the question is, can I become the shogun? And the answer is no, I can't, because I'm a woman. That sucks. And the heir is also a woman. This might get a little complicated. Anyway, yeah, we'll figure this out. We'll figure this out, I'm sure. Fortunately, we did already focus on military, so that's kind of okay. Well, I can become the Taisho, but not like... I can't run the country, but I can become a minister. That's neat. Thank you for that. We do have to try and maintain the momentum of our block here, because the more people you have, the more strength you have, and so the more willing people are to join your block, or more importantly, the more willing they are to leave a different block. Okay, hopefully this works, because I kind of need to have a male heir. Okay, good. Good start. And we have a new heir, a male heir. Okay, we can do something with this. Maybe we can't do something with this. Oh no, he's feeble. How did that even happen? No one in the bloodline is feeble. How did this... Oh, that's not great. That's really not great. Okay, let's try again. Third time's the charm. And it's a daughter. Okay, no, that's cool. We can try again. Oh, and my husband drank himself to death. All right, well, we just gotta keep trying. Oh, yay, another attempt on my life. He's just keeps on happening for some reason. Ooh, this is really bad, actually. Yeah, that's really bad. Okay, we're actually not gonna spend a bunch of time out on the trail real quick. We're gonna change all this, actually. Yeah, we're just gonna go straight home. Oh, and my son, he has consumption. He's feeble and he has consumption. He's so cooked. Let's go! Oh, man. We're never becoming the shogun. I think it's actually over. Okay, we're gonna swap to temptation for just a hot minute. And we're just going to, make sure that we get an heir. Oh, yep. Another attempt to assassinate me. Very, very cool. Big fan of that. Oh, and my daughter is also dead, so we're back to square one. Although this might actually be better, potentially, because now we don't split the titles. Oh, hold on. Samurai or archer cavalry? Oh, looks like we are going to have yet another kid in 2 months, and I need this kid to 1, be male, and 2, not die in the first 5 years. I think that's pretty important. Okay, we're off to a good start. Suehiro? Sure, fine. Okay, we now have a male heir who is... Wait, hold on. He's not sickly. Amazing news. Or, feeble, I guess, that's what I meant. Don't worry, in the background I've been doing stuff, still strengthening the block, so that when we do have an eligible ruler, we will be able to immediately declare war for the shogunate. Well, not the shogunate. I use that to mean the Daijo Taijin. Okay, I have maybe kind of a sort of plan, possibly. So we're going to petition the Tenno hopefully for royal marriage. And actually, before I do that, how much does the Tenno actually like me? Not a lot, but they are surprisingly terrified of me. I'll at least be courteous. I'll give them a gift first. Oh, he actually says yes. Huh, interesting. Okay, we might be able to work with that, actually. Well, was a good opportunity. Kind of depends on if he lives that long. I'm kind of wondering if I increase the severity of plagues. I mean, it doesn't look like it, but it kinda does, you know what I mean? Well, anyway, esteemed Tenno, we would like to have my son marry your daughter. It's gonna be a while before that actually happens, but that would be cool, I think. I think that would legitimize him to be the shogun at some point, don't you think? Because I do. Granted, of course, he doesn't just straight up die from this plague, we'll see. Oh, thank you? Oh, he gave me the duchy title. Okay, that makes sense. Wait, no, that doesn't make sense. I mean, it does because I had it, but it doesn't because he just made me so much more powerful. Before we go to war with the really big faction here, I am just going to try and clean up pretty much anything else I can get my hands on. Now, we are 51 years old. Really not too old, but then again, our father did die at 60. I think we should fight the war for block supremacy. If we win, any of the member houses of the losing block, whose head is not loyal, will end up joining my block. Which means, essentially, if we manage to steal a whole lot of the current Kanmu block, then we should be able to set up our son to seize power over the entire country and have most of them be loyal to him from the get-go. But it's not going to be an easy war, that's for sure. Oh yeah, I kind of forgot to ransom everybody that we have here. Should probably do that. Alright, well, with that, the war's done. That was actually a lot easier than I thought it would be. I said it wouldn't be an easy war. Turns out I lied. I'm also going to take his son hostage because I can. And with that, we suddenly have a whole lot of new friends to take care of. That is 44 members in this block. Now, they still have 21 members. It's not like I took everything from them. I think it's also important for us to probably host a festival. Oh, and it turns out, actually, a lot of guys are willing to leave the old block now because the relative military power is significant. In fact, relative military power is a number that's so absurd, I feel like it has to be bugged. Like, there's no way that's supposed to be the real number that's used. But hey, if I can invite everybody in Japan to the block, I might as well, right? Oh no. Oh no, 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 no. Oh no, 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 no. Wake up, time for a new apocalyptic plague. It's not like we've had enough of those yet. We need just one more, I promise. Well, now that we have the Imperial Pacification Law, I actually could go ahead and start invading a couple countries up here. Okay, I think I'm going to go ahead and just be super reckless. I'm gonna see if I can go die in a hunt. Alright, let's see if I can get wounded. Nope. Still failed the hunt though, with an 80% chance. That's cool. Let me go and meditate in the mountains real quick. Maybe that'll do it. And if it doesn't, then on the way back, I'm just gonna go do literally anything. Oh, here we go. Chance of getting ill? Okay, here we go. Wait, what is this? I'm kind of hoping that's not my problem. But also, I'm kind of hoping that this illness actually takes me out for good this time. Like, it says I should be dead. Why am I not dead? Hold on. Yeah, no personal physician either. I should be dead now. Please? Please let me die? Okay, what if I just do a bunch of stuff that increases stress? Surely that will kill me. Oh, what do you know? Okay, so that's perfect. Of course, we have our martial perch. We're going to go for chivalry. Now, we're able to create an install ruling regent faction. The ruling regent is what the Daijo Daijin actually is. So we're going to create this faction. Of course, we have an absolutely insane amount of military power in this faction, because in this case, it's not actually a block versus block thing. It's literally my entire block versus this one guy. So even if we hadn't fought that last war, I think we would still be able to succeed here. Now, obviously, I'm just going to press demands immediately. So what is he going to do about it? And of course, he has backed down immediately. Now that we are the Daijo Daijin, finally fulfilling the ambitions of our grandfather, let's take a little tour around the palace. It looks very nice, I must say, in my opinion, and it is a step above those that we've seen in the past. Now, of course, we do have control over the imperial capital, so we're going to go ahead and move our manor there. I'm also going to hand out a couple of things to some vassals, since we can only hold 4 actual territories. Of course, it's now our job to shepherd Japan in the name of the Tenno, who, wow, he hates me. I didn't even realize how much he hated me. Oh, that's for having too many duchies. No, that makes sense, actually. We're gonna fix that real quick. Now, we also need to make sure that people don't hate us. So I'm thinking we should hold maybe a funeral, actually. Also for the legitimacy. That'll probably do it. What is happening? The Emperor's court now speaks Chinese. What? Why? Now, if we want to formalize the actual shogunate, we are going to need to increase our legitimacy and fame, which basically means we're just going to host a ton of activities. Not really a big fan of how much the Mongol Empire is expanding at the moment. I think what concerns me even more is that I actually don't know how they expand. Like, I didn't play that much of that DLC. They're just taking things in the middle of nowhere and I don't know why. Oh, what is this? This better not be killing me. We're definitely looking to maximize legitimacy and prestige, so we're going to swap to the Majesty focus just for a little bit. Another 80% fail, let's go. Luckiest man alive right here. Oh boy, we sure do love assassination attempts. My favorite. Well, you know, presumably it's an assassination attempt. It seems to happen a lot. See, now, normally I would just kind of let this play through. Unfortunately, I'm like 2 funerals, 4 hunts, and like 7 festivals into trying to make this work. So actually, we're just going to make sure this doesn't happen. And to make sure that we don't die, we're just going to go ahead and do literally anything else. A third 80% success chance failure. Man, I should stop going on hunts. Oh, the Khan is dead. We're so back. Good thing he died before reaching over here, because goddamn. I was kind of sweating for a second there. Okay. At this point, I feel like there's something wrong with the RNG. That's 4 failed 80% chances. Normally that's not too crazy, but in a row? Hold on, let me run in the numbers on that. That is, I think, a 0.16% chance of failing those 4 hunts in a row. Pretty impressive, to be honest. If you think about it in a different way, I might actually be the luckiest person imaginable, and I should buy a lottery ticket today. Having finished that last hunt, we have enough legitimacy and fame to formalize the Kawachi Shogunate. The endless politicking of the imperial court has run its course, undermined by the pageantry and trappings of days past. A strong hand must establish a new order of service, family, and steel. We get a legend seed, 62 dread, 525 legitimacy. The Minamoto dynasty gets 1,000 renown. We replace the Yamato culture's fragile peace tradition with the Bushido tradition, and every Ritsuryo vassal becomes a Soryo government. A new age dawns upon Japan as power shifts from pen to sword. Under Kawachi leadership, order will at last be restored and the last vestiges of the old bureaucracy consigned to history. But let none be mistaken, my authority is derived from our divine Tenno. Yes, we may now be in charge, but we are not necessarily the most important person in Japan. Of course, that has a lot to do with the theology in Japan, where the emperor, a descendant of Amaterasu, is too important to be replaced. It does have me wondering, though, if I played an earlier start date, could I change that? I'm not sure, but maybe you'll have to find out for me, because that's where we're going to end things off for today. We have proclaimed the first shogunate, not quite as historically accurately as we could have. Of course, we did have to wait 2 entire generations to make it happen, but at least we did do it with the historical house, and if nothing else, we learned a little bit today about the history of how Japan became a shogunate, or at least I did while doing my preliminary research for the intro to today's video. Now, that being said, if you enjoyed today's video, I would really appreciate it if you left a like. It really helps promote it in the algorithm. It lets YouTube know that you like this kind of content, and also shows you more of it as well. And if you're new here, as I imagine a lot of CK3 viewers would be, since I don't make too many CK3 videos, then subscribing wouldn't be a bad idea, because I'm probably going to make some more of these in the future, and if not this, then other Paradox games are definitely ones that I cover more regularly. But for now, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day. A special thank you to the patrons this month. In particular, thank you very much to Erica, Born to Dunk, Gallo4, Gorka Maistegi, The Quebecer, Mikhail Sample, Nick Schneffel, Princess Rhea, Qbrute, Spiro, Tillman Augustin, AG Forero, Ben Mottram, Quiet Guy, Rosset, Torvald, Ambient Cyan, Elysia Tatze, James Levy, Luke78776, and Robert.